Okay, this is me talking to you from after what's supposed to be a live stream. I started live streaming in OBS, but I forgot to click go live um, in YouTube. So I have the recording, but it was not actually live and it's not saved there. So I will just upload it. And I also had messed up my screen resolution. So part of the screen is missing in there. I'm not going to redo it or anything and just play. It was for the first time. No, it's messed up. But yeah, sorry about it. Stuff happens. And I will make sure that for the next stream, I actually go live stream and that my screen resolution is actually correct. Thanks. Bye. Enjoy the live stream. Live stream to be running. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you are watching this. There's an issue on the Firebird client repository that basically says, hey, upgrade this to .NET 7 and EF Core 7, basically all the 7 stuff. And it's been there for a couple of months now, basically since the .NET 7 was released. And I tried a couple of times to add the support, but always had something more important to do or something happened and I didn't have much time to do so. And given this, I'm doing in my free time, it's a little bit difficult to sometimes justify spending some time of this. So anyway, what I would like to do now is to basically show you what it takes to upgrade into .NET 7 and all the other pieces. There's probably multiple ways to do it, and there's also multiple like pending tasks that I will postpone and go back to this later. I will again record it on the live stream, and I don't know how much time I have right now. We will see when I run out of time or when I hit some big issue that I know that will take me a couple of hours and I will not have this time. I will stop and continue in the future one. So this is a rough cut of what actually needs to happen. So let's jump into it. So this is it. And let me switch to this one. It's a little bit better. Okay. So we first need to get .NET 7 targeting on the provider. So let me close all of these tabs and just see the project. EF Core, I don't know about the EF Core, and test base and so on and so on. Okay, so the first one is obviously the Firebird client itself. That's pretty easy. I will just do .NET 7. Another question that I mentioned I will just skip is all of this huge list probably needs to go. I need to figure out what will be the best way for now and also for the future to handle the basically ever-growing list of supported frameworks. I think I will do Net 6, Net 7, Net 5 is out of support, and then I will probably just do .NET Standard 2.0 for like backwards compatibility, and Net 4.8 I will remove. .NET Standard 2.1 probably it's not needed if we have .NET 6, 7. I don't know. I need to think about it now. I'll just .NET 7 and that's it. There's a bunch of conditions for .NET 6 and .NET 7, so I will just keep the project file kind of complete and add .NET 7, but there is nothing in 6 or 5, so maybe eventually I will remove that. And yeah, that's about it. The first thing, then we have the tests. I think all the tests could be on .NET 7 because that's the latest one. So let's save this one. Then we have the perf. So let's do 7 and the scratchpad that I'm using if I need to test something. I have all the references there and so on. So that's .NET 7. That should be fine. Then we have EF6. That's kind of no longer supported, but I just want to check what's in there. In the meantime, I can probably update the copyright. .NET Standard 2.1. Let me quickly check on the NuGet what is actually supported for Entity Framework. There it is. And where is the frameworks? .NET 4, .NET Core Up 3, and .NET Standard 2.1. So we are probably good on .NET 4.8, .NET Standard 2.1. Again, that's something I need to figure out. What will be the versions? Probably .NET Standard 2.1. No, 2.1 is not supported on 4.8. So probably 4.8, 4.1, maybe just update it to the latest. I don't know. Maybe leave it untouched. So for the tests, I will do .NET 7 again. That's probably fine. We can update this one for 7 as well. I'm wondering why there is even a condition in these tests, because we are not running the tests in other version than .NET 7. So what's in the app config? Oh yeah, that's the app config for the Entity Framework. I think that's no longer needed. So I will delete that. And I can remove this one. I'm wondering whether it makes sense to run the tests on .NET 7, or it should be .NET 4.8, because that's probably the .NET framework in general, because that makes more sense. Not sure. But yeah, I can edit later. Remove that. Already made the step. And the EF6 is not affected by .NET 7. So EF6 is done. Provider, we have that. I'm just checking the copyrights. So we can probably update. It's 3 actually. See, I'm still living in past. So let's do that. 2023, .NET 7, Scratchpad. Tests are 7, there is no copyright, and the rest is just source link. Okay. The next one is just to check the EF core, what is actually being used. For example, let's check SQL Server. It's .NET 6 only. Okay, makes sense. So I think we are good on EF core. 6 functional tests can be probably on 7, and the tests themselves can be on 7 as well. Do we have any? We do. 2023. Okay, so that's it. Let's try building it. Hopefully nothing breaks. It shouldn't. It's just a new target. Build succeeded. Good. Okay, then let's do check. I don't want a core CLR. I just want core. Release notes. What I want to check is the API diff. Let's open these diffs. But I'm really interested in data common. Well, SQL types not. So that's this. There's probably nothing interested for me or for the provider in ASP.NET Core from the system data standpoint, and definitely not in the WinForms. Yep. Okay. So SQL types, not really interested. Me, DB data source, that's already mentioned. That's already mentioned in here. What do we have in here? Oh, okay. Let's do another task for this. So let's edit this one and add, will it render correctly? Yes. So we have this one, data common, DB data source, DB data provider factory. That's good. And there's also serialization format and system data. Okay, so there's no new API. That's good. So let's go back into this one. And oh, I should probably also create a branch for this one. So let's call it 7, because why not? And I'm still not sold on the entity framework that's running on .NET 7, the tests. I will go back to that later. So let's do this client tests. That's about it. So that's provider. This EF6 and this is EF core. I will clean that up later. Okay, so it built. There's no new API, so that looks okay. The next thing would be to run the tests for the provider, but again, because there's no new API, it probably does not make much sense. So I think we can jump into the EF Core 7. That's probably a bigger one. So again, I will check on the NuGet. Will it find EF Core? Well, so what's the current version? 703. Good. So another task is, originally I was referencing the EF Core and EF Core relational manually, but the relational has a dependency on an EF Core. Maybe this is a good way to clean this up. So I will just do that. And let's hope for the best. Functional tests. Let's hope there's a 7.3 as well. And the tests themselves, they just reference that directly. Okay, let's build it. It's probably going to fail because there will be some changes, especially in the tests themselves. Well, just a few. That's good. Let's build this one. Okay. So there is no override for this one. Append identity where condition. Search for identity. It's no longer there. Let me check. Oh, the sun is coming up. And I want, what do I want? I want to do the div. just looking whether there is something that talks about this one. Not really. Okay, well, it just says that there's nothing to override, and I was still throwing this one. I guess it was abstract or something, so I can remove that one. And result set mapping does not have no result set, so there is no results. Probably the proper way to do it. Let's check in the code. No results is 0. Let's do the blame. No result set. Okay. So yeah, that's just a simple rename, no results. Anything else in the file? Let's try building it. Will succeed it. Well, I'm pretty sure that's not it. But let's do the tests. These are my own tests, like small tests that are usually easier to run than the full suite of functional tests. So maybe open the Test Explorer. It's on the wrong window. Maybe we can even dock it in here. And I don't need tests for this one. I will just set it as a startup. I need to run Firebird, probably. Let me do that. Let me do another window because it will be, sorry, on another screen. It'll be easier. And I don't want to see you. I don't want you to see my mess in the binaries of Firebird. So let's run on Firebird 3 for now. There's still nothing from 4 that we support in EF Core, I suppose. My brain, my memory is a little bit foggy on this. Okay, and let's try running it. Well, 7 failed. That's fair. Dynamic SQL error. Whoa. Seems to be always the same stuff. So concurrency delete. Okay. Let's see what's what. It's just deleting an entity with ID 66. So that's this one. Let's open this one. That is the update. Update SQL generator. Delete operation. So let's put a breakpoint in here. In the program, let's run this one test. So it's, I never know the N unit. Is it filter or where? I think it's where. Test name. Concurrency delete. That should be enough. Let's try again. No. It's not a test name. N unit. Test selection language. You can see I'm Googling it all the time. Oh, it's test. And it's where? Okay, got it. So it's not test name, it's test. Try again. Boom. So Oh, there's some breakpoints from other debugging sessions. So let's remove that one and put the delete operation. Whoa. Interesting. So it's not going into what it should be. So I guess there was some change in registration, and maybe what I should done first is go to the issues, and there's a label that's basically providers beware, and I suppose it will be enclosed. I never know. And there is a milestone. Yeah, 7. There's a 7.00. No, but there is definitely 7. Hmm. Maybe because it's closed. I don't know. 7.0 is definitely there. You think I can do like, oh, I know how can I do it? Milestone, whatever. And I will just do 7.00. There it is. Yeah, this is, it's actually what I reported. Was it closed? There is the commit. I think it was just removed from that one. Selecting update SQL generator. Okay, that's a clue. Makes sense. Value generation with converters, value buffer factory, null in connection string. That's fine. SQL server, stop breaking single chain in transaction, returning output. That's probably going to be affecting us as well. And this is a SQL server. Okay, so it's this, and that's the rest is probably not interesting. So I suppose, given the commit in here, this is what I should be actually looking at. Files changed. So there's the selecting update SQL generator. Okay. The update SQL generator is still there. There should be some abstract, yeah, there's the identity where conditioner was removed. So let's run it again and check the so it is save changes, change tracking, save change async, batch executor. So I guess somewhere in here there's a bunch of registrations. This is what I'm looking for. Well, the last one where something changed. Let's close this one. And just to confirm my theory, what I can do is open, is it in FB command? GDS statement, FB command, prepare async, execute, reader execute command. Okay. FB command. And hopefully I can check. What? What? How is it not hitting? Maybe it's this one. There's this overload. Ah, there it is. What is actually the command text? Because I guess oh, that's actually that it's creating the structure for the tests. So not that much interesting. Let me put the breakpoint back, and that's okay. That's the test itself. That's the test itself. And now okay. So that is actually something that I am looks like I'm returning one. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. If it's fine, it returns one. But the commands are not correct. There should be add sign. So I guess something changed. We don't need this one. Where I'm actually generating the delete. It's not in the update. Delete. Let's search for everything delete. That's the entity framework. That's the client tests. Migrations? No. So it's not the insert, it's not the update. There is the delete. And it's using the execute block and it's not hitting it. Let's put one in the constructor. Oh no, I don't need this one. Concurrency delete. Okay, so it is using this one. Update SQL generator. That makes sense. Okay. Okay. Raw SQL command, relational command, execute non-query async, execute SQL raw. So the best case would be that there is something else to override, and I'm not doing it. Append delete operation, the command header. Append delete command. Okay. Let's do delete command header. Delete operation. That's suspiciously out request transaction. Huh. Looks like the old one is there. Let's call the base. That's the request transaction. Ah, it ignores this one. Interesting. Anyway, let's put a bunch of breakpoints in here and see whether we will land in there. Can remove this one, the constructor as well. Oh yeah, it's the delete command. Okay, well that's fair. So it has the same signature. Do you think I might be lucky if I do this? And before the return, do requires transaction true. I will figure it out later. Pen delete command. Yeah. Let's try again. Boom. We are in. Let me check whether the stream is actually running. I don't know. Well, I'm recording it anyway, so I will re-upload it if something failed. Fingers crossed. Expected DB update concurrence exception, but was null. Fair enough. Really? What is my test actually doing? Where is this? End to end? Delete tests. Ah, yeah, there it is. Save changes. Is the test wrong? Let me remove this one, because that's not needed. I'm wondering if I delete the entity, how is it actually configured? Stamp on add or update concurrency token. So this should be, and I'm getting a different timestamp. Okay, yeah, it should fail because the timestamp is wrong. Maybe it's with the results at mapping as result row. Last in results it was is 5 now. Last in the results set before it was number 1. Sorry, last in results it was number 2. 0, 1, 2. But I don't think there's a big words compatibility in that. So output parameter. So let me first check what I'm actually generating, because I don't remember exactly how it looks like. So execute block returns rows affected, suspend and record row count. So I think it's the result as result row in a result set. That looks correct. Fingers crossed. Let's run it without debugger. Still failing. Let me check what is actually executed. Do this. And give me the FB command. Good. So now the command text, it looks like execute block timestamp, rows affected, suspend, makes absolute sense. So now it needs to fetch. What's the call stack actually? Is it going execute reader? Makes sense. Execute DB data reader. So yeah, it did prepare. Records affected. Execute ace. Wait a minute. So it executes that. Execute reader. Great. And in the reader, well, I don't know which method is actually being used. So let's do the records affected. Probably not that one. Definitely the read and read async needs to be used. And maybe the indexer. Get value. That's probably it. Let's do the get values as well. Get field value, because why not? There's also an async version of the get field value. Okay. Reader, good. There's some kind of exception. No, it's just a finally. Consume async, good. What is it actually doing? As output parameters false. Affected count modifications command batch, okay. Oh, it's actually a flags now? It would be weird. This is false, right? Just to make sure, yeah. Consume results async. Read async, okay. Returns true, makes sense. You don't need that. Let's go into this one. Column modifications count to not needed, but whatever. What is this doing? Rows affected plus plus. closes this one. Records affected is 0. Ah. Close that one. Rows affected, that's fine. Okay. So it did not throw the correct exception. Hmm. What if I hard code 0 in here? Yeah, no. And if I do 1, does not really matter because the test is the other way around. Last in the result set has result row. Looks like I need to do a little bit of reversing. What's the command? Yeah, that's the execute block. I'm wondering that in the data reader, not the schema table, definitely. Get ordinal, we don't care. Get name, data type name, field type, provider specific goes into get field type, get value. We already have a breakpoint. Get values. I think the meaning changed that if there is something in the result set, that's fine. While what I actually need is to check not that there is a result set, although I can do that. But I need to see this is no longer used. Interesting. I removed it for some time and I left it there. Okay, that's problem for another day. So I am actually handling, I don't care about the close or close async or dispose async. So we can fold that. Records affected, not really interested, has rows. Depth, we don't need this. This goes into the get value. This was into the get value. Okay. What I can do to try that, just remove the suspend. So that means it's not returning the result. Yes, that was my suspicion. Do I need to return the rows affected? It makes sense. I think if I do, if row count equals 0, then do not do suspend will result down the line when I improve something or maybe batching or something, then it will fail for me. So I will keep it this way as result row. So what's there? No result though. No, that's not it. Has result row. Row in a result set. Okay. Not last. Last in a result set. Result set with rows affected. Oh, only. That makes sense. Let's run it again. Okay, it's failing. Boom, solved. I should have read the complete enum before jumping into the conclusion. So let's delete all the breakpoints. The test is okay. Let me check what I actually changed. Oh yeah, this one I need to revert. What's next? Oh, the versions and bunch of these. So far, so good. Five. Well, from 7, I take that. Maybe it's a good idea to start committing the changes. Let's call it progress. And I will go back into cleaning up the mess and so on and so on. So what's the time? 46 minutes. Streaming, okay. So what failed? It looks like the same. Update test update. I guess that's the same stuff. That I'm actually not overriding correct method. Append update operation. Yes. So I guess if I do this, for now, let's keep it on true because I guess it was before true. I'm already doing some magic in here. Rows affected. Any read. And well, let's try running it. Yeah, concurrency update, no generated. I think that's the same story. So let me go here and here. Yes, so if I have rows affected and then directly suspend compared to just the if, and by the way, there is a wrong indentation, but do I care? Probably not. It's generated, right? And we save few characters on the transfer. Maybe I should remove anti-spaces. No, I'm not going to. Anyway, so I think it's if not any read, then results at mapping. What was the name? Affected only. Otherwise, it's last result set. Let's do a little bit of formatting and try again. Fingers crossed. Boom. All done. All done, all done. Let's check also the insert. same story. I don't have anything for inserts. That's weird. I do. There's a save changes. There's adding new entity, but it's probably calling the correct one in this case. I don't know. Let me comment this one out, put a breakpoint in here, and run it just to make sure that I don't have anything dangling in there, or it was a lucky coincidence. No, it was a lucky coincidence. Interesting. But I guess the insert is quite common. The returning, I don't know whether it's standard or not. I'm now using the results in here. Just checking whether it makes sense to put it in here so I don't have to do it twice. Probably. Or maybe I can even well, let's do a little bit more refactoring. I actually really don't care, so let's just call default. And we can do this one. And we can just return the result. So it's a little bit more consistent. I'm wondering whether the last in the result set, oh, not last in the result set, has the result row in the result set. That sounds to me it should be better. Anyway, let's run it. Okay, that's fine. Just check that it's actually hitting the breakpoint. Woo! Oh, there was something. I was in a debugger. Yeah, there's a bunch of these inserts. Makes sense. What if, because this one is basically the same, it's using the returning and it's just one. Let's try it. As the result row. Hope something breaks, because if both work, then I need to figure out what's actually the better way to do it. What was the delete name? Okay. Still works, but the has result row makes more sense because this is definitely doing suspended. It will be just one. And insert. Strictly speaking, I can have multiple results after the insert. I can do insert into select yada yada, but that's not going to happen in here because there's no select. So result row probably. I don't know. it works now. When I run the functional tests, that's going to break a lot more stuff. But let's call the progress. And that's probably it for now. I think I will take a dog for a walk. Or honestly, I will take myself for a walk, and the dog will come with me. And I will continue in the future. In the meantime, I want to figure out the versions. If you're watching this, just let me know what you think about the versions in the Firebird client. What would you like? What would you don't like? My current position, just to give you some ideas, would be keep the .NET Standard 2.0 that covers also the .NET Framework. Remove the 2.1 because the 2.1 is completely covered by 5, 6, and 7, and 3.1 and 5 and so on and so on. They're out of support. So why would I drag myself with all the versions? And remove 4.0, 4.8 because that's covered by .NET Standard 2.0. So that's one thing. The other one that I'm not fully committed yet is that the entity framework, the old one, where are you? Here it is. So it is what I'm looking, frameworks, using for something. And what do I reference? I reference the Firebird client, and that will be .NET Standard. So strictly speaking, 4.8 is fine. I can maybe leave the 4.8 in the provider. .NET Standard 2.1 and NetCore up 3.0. I don't care about that. It's out of support as well. So maybe for EF 2.1 and 4.01, just to make, I don't know, that probably does not make much sense, to force into 4.8.1. And now the questions with the tests. I think the tests should probably run on .NET Framework. Because strictly speaking, you can run Entity Framework on .NET Core. Because, yeah, it's just .NET Standard 2.1. But would you? Let me know in the comments or somewhere whether it makes more sense to run it on .NET Framework. Because that I would say is more common scenario, like you are stuck, and I don't mean to say it in a bad way, you are stuck on a .NET Framework and you are using Entity Framework. Or on .NET Core or 5 or 6, because you are still using the Entity Framework 6, but you upgrade it into the new versions. I get the idea that, okay, we upgraded the underlying infrastructure, but the Entity Framework stays the same, because upgrading to Core basically means rewriting it from scratch, and especially if you have some layer on top of the Entity Framework, then it's not like just changing the Entity Framework to Entity Framework Core. It also means changing it to changing the layer you have, but I don't know which version it is. What is the NUnit actually doing, just to make sure? What's the frameworks? 4.5. Okay, there's nothing that would mean dropping it. NUnit Lite, I would guess it's the same. Yeah, that's the same. .NET Standard 2.0. So, okay, we are not being blocked by NUnit or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe the next video I will talk about it a little bit more. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Next time I will either deal with the versions one way or the other, or I will finish the functional tests. That usually takes, again, a couple of tries. And from my experience, it's usually like, hey, 5,000 tests failed, and then you fix one thing, and it's 3,000, and then it's 1,000, and then it's 20, And from 20 to 0, it's a really long way. But it needs to be done because the tests are there to actually test that everything is working. That's it. I'm going for a walk. Enjoy the rest of the day or night or something. And see you next time.